Welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast, where leaders live with intention. I'm your host, Becky Ploutz, and today's episode is here to help you if you are feeling stuck in stress, if you're ready to learn how mindfulness helps you reset, release overwhelm, and gain clarity so that you can move forward with more confidence and ease in your life, then this is going to be a beautiful episode for you to tune into. So thank you for being here. I want to remind you that if you know someone that is in need of releasing that stress and overwhelm, that this is a beautiful time to make sure that you share with them. When this resonates with you, there's someone in your life that probably needs to hear it as well. So I appreciate you spreading the love, helping them get this content as well, and getting the message out there to support. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Confidence Catalyst Weekly Boost. These episodes and the Healthy Headspace podcast blog also go right to your inbox, so you never miss a beat. You always have the content to support you, and it goes right to your inbox. So make sure that you sign up for that. Everything that you need is below to make that happen. So let's dive into this episode: the power of pausing to reset when stress and overwhelm takes over. Okay, that's really where we're focusing today, about a mindful reset. And you may have saw or heard the episode with Terry and I talking about introducing the mindful reset and how much she loved this idea and the understanding. We had some dialogue around it. I will have that podcast below as well. And I wanted to do a more extended version of that today with you. So, because there's always a time in my life that I can really recognize that I'm feeling stressed out, it's keeping me stuck. And I was in that loop for a long time, and focusing on how resetting my mind and getting back to my morning routines and all of these pieces and strategies, had really helped me regain my clarity, that I knew that this was an important conversation to have with you today. So, let's dive into talking more around why stress and overwhelm really blocks our momentum. And there's definitely a myth, right, that if I just push through, I'll get ahead. And I have definitely co-signed on this push in the past, and I now am more gracefully accepting the fact that sometimes it's a wrong time to be pushing through and feeling that stress, and it adds on. And right, stress clutters our minds. And for myself, it makes it harder to see what's the right next step. Just the next right step for myself can get really foggy, right? And maybe you can relate to this because, there is science behind stress. There's the fight or flight mode that we've heard of, right? And there's a flow state. And we want to be in the flow state, correct? So there's signs that we can start to recognize about needing this mindset reset. And some of those signs are definitely decision fatigue. They're definitely feeling stuck in that analysis paralysis of like, I just don't know what to do next. And definitely like constantly second guessing yourself. That's a sign that you need a reset. Or also thinking about the lack of motivation or really feeling that burnout, that stress, that overwhelm. It's just totally blocking your momentum. You can't even see what's next. You're in the tornado of it. That is when you definitely know that you are in the fight or flight mode. You need to declutter your mind so that you can see what is just the next right step for yourself. So thinking about the mindset reset process, I want to share with you. There's 5 things that I've shaped out, which I'm sure you've heard in the past episodes, but I want to make sure that I reiterate them Step one is to pause and acknowledge, right? Make sure that you're giving yourself a mental pause. Stop the mental noise and recognize your stress triggers better. So unplugging might be a really good strategy in this case, right? If you find yourself feeling very overwhelmed looking at your social feed, okay, give yourself the opportunity to unplug from that and acknowledge that, okay, this is really triggering me right now. I'm stressed out. This isn't helping. Take a pause. Okay. And step two is to breathe and reconnect. And when I say reconnect, I really mean with yourself, calming your nervous system, right? You can do some simple breath work exercises to calm your nervous system in minutes. Okay. Look them up on YouTube. Take a second to just look some techniques. It's so your breath is free. It's accessible to you right now. As a matter of fact, just take a deep breath right now. Let it out. Step three is to release the overwhelm. And this is where journaling and movement, these techniques, they really help you clear the clutter. I know they help me, so I know they can help you. It's just a matter of being able to go through this process and hit that pause button. Take some breaths so that you can move your body in a proactive way, in a journal to move that clutter out. What is the junk in your head? Get it out. Step four is to gain clarity and to get that realignment. Okay, so asking yourself, what actually matters right now? That gives you clarity. What matters right now, in the moment? And step five is to take a small step, baby step, help shift from overwhelm into action with a single intentional move to support yourself. And I want to move into talking about some specific strategies deeper that help for stress-free mindset, to remove the stress, let it flow out. So these strategies, they really equipped you with real doable techniques to break free from the stress loops and build inner strength, right? To really be able to get ready for that action step. A 5-minute reset, which can be shorter. If 5 minutes is like, I don't even have 5 minutes. Okay, great. Take a 2-minute reset. Take a 1 minute, 60 seconds, right? And regain your focus. Use your senses. That was one actually I want to share in a little bit too. But okay, another strategy is to scripting out the stress in your life, script out the stress away with that journaling exercise, right? It's an instant clarity. Catch the thought of what is stressing you out and now work on journaling that out to script away, like, how can you remove this stress, the pain that is causing you? How can you shift your mindset? How can you work on that when you're ready to do that? Another one is to say no to the overcommitments, right? Set those boundaries, please, sis. Like, let's give yourself the priority of staying away from burnout by preventing it, by saying no to those things that are out of alignment. And then also look at creating a stress-resistant routine for yourself, right? Thinking about those mindful practices that build resilience. I'll dive into this one deeper because understanding stress and why we need a reset is important. So, understanding stress isn't just mental. It's actually affecting our bodies, our emotions, and our decision making. So it's really important to understand that. And the key to resilience isn't avoiding stress. No, no, no. But it's developing the tools to navigate it effectively so that you can have this mindful reset that allows us to release that buildup of overwhelm and move forward with more clarity. So there's a 4-step mindful reset for stress resilience that I'm going to share with you right now. Step 1 for that is to pause and identify the stress response that you want to have, right? Interrupt that cycle. When you've acknowledged and you see it, this is the interruption happening, so that you can notice that you are feeling tension, irritable, that you have racing thoughts right now. There's anxious thoughts in there. Okay, that's identifying that stress response or interrupting that. Now name it, right? I'm feeling overwhelmed because, and acknowledge versus repressing it. Instead of pushing away, make sure that you're paying attention to, okay, I see it, I feel that, I know that's there. And then take those 3 deep belly breaths to disrupt the stress response even at a deeper level, because this builds resilience, because you're recognizing stress as it arises and it puts you back in control instead of letting it control you. So this is huge. The second step for the mindset reset for resilience in stress is to ground yourself in the present moment, right? Anchor yourself before reacting so that you can give a response. And engaging in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method of look for 5 things that you see. What is 4 things you can hear? What is 3 things you can feel? 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Use the physical grounding tools, right? Hand on your heart, look at EFT tapping or stretching your body. Our body knows the stress in there, okay? So also think about setting an intention. I choose calm and clarity today. And this builds resilience. It keeps stress from spiraling, from being in this tornado by reconnecting to the present moment rather than reacting out of overwhelm in that stress response. So step 3 is to release that overwhelm and let go of that mental clutter, right? Like I said, write it down, brain dump it, think tank with me on Sundays at 2:00. I would love to see you in there. It's no filter, no judgment. Get pen to paper, pull up a Word doc if you're out walking. Like, what are those thoughts in your head you really want to work on releasing that overwhelm? Identify what's actually in your control to do and move towards that. Take the action. You can also look at like specific breathing that I've shared before that I do love is the simple box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds to regulate your nervous system. It can be that easy, right? 16 seconds of your life to really regulate your nervous system so you can keep going. You got this. You can do that. And this builds resilience, right? Because you're releasing that mental clutter. It helps really distinguish between real priorities and unnecessary worry, right? Reducing emotional exhaustion from your life. And then step 4 is to reset with purposeful action, right? Shift from reactive to proactive. Identify 1 small action you can take right now. Use the 2-minute rule, like I said, if it takes 2 minutes or less to do it now, right? Just do the thing. Oh, this is actually, so if the action that you're thinking about takes 2 minutes or less, go and do it immediately and then move on to your day, like tasks or lists that you've already created. But if it only takes 2 minutes, do the 2 minutes right now instead of taking the time to write it down and store it in your mind. and be able to just take that really purposeful action so that you can be proactively just doing the thing. And then visualize your next step with clarity and confidence, right? This is where the purposeful part comes in. And thus builds resilience by taking even the smallest action step toward and forward, reinforcing self-trust and momentum instead of getting stuck in stress paralysis and overthinking and overwhelm. So make mindfulness a daily habit, right? Resilience isn't about avoiding stress. It's about learning to and practicing resetting, refocusing, and realigning quicker. The faster we do it, gamify that, catch that thought, switch it, release it, let it go, let it move through your body. A stress-resistant routine means incorporating these small, mindful resets before stress builds up, okay? That's why it's stress-resistant. You're letting it go before it even accumulates in your body, right? And having daily rituals like morning deep breaths, intentional breaks throughout your day, and gratitude reflections really help reinforce resilience over time. And some more key takeaways that I want to just highlight before we wrap up fully is pushing through stress often slows you down. Pushing or pausing helps you move forward faster because you can be more intentional and feel stronger when you do that, because you have taken the time to pause and acknowledge and take those intentional breaths, release the overwhelm. You've regained your clarity and you're realigning, and you're able to make, grounded decisions and choices in these habits to support yourself, and use those simple techniques like breathwork and journaling and small intentional steps to shift the energy instantly. And another takeaway is that a mindful reset clears mental clutter and gives you clarity. So, what is the one mindful reset strategy you will try this week? I would love to know. And when you want to release overwhelm and create a clear path forward, I hope that you'll join me in the virtual Connect with Your Vision interactive workshop. You can learn more about that when it is, all the good things. That's free below. If you want to practice tapping, EFT tapping to ground yourself and explore being in community as we collectively bring our energy more level, join our free monthly experience inside the Work on Purpose, the Purpose community, led by a certified tapper, Kelly Fox. The information is below. Would love to see you there and get signed up and save that space on your calendar to give yourself the gift of slowing down to speed up your results. And if you're looking for a deeper one-on-one support, I would love for you to book a discovery call and create momentum and have a plan tailored for you. I want to thank you for being here today. I appreciate you sharing this episode with anyone that you know could get this support and tools for themselves. Be sure to sign up for that Confidence Catalyst Weekly Boost. Episodes come right to you in your inbox. And until next time, I love you. Remember to love yourself, live fearlessly, and do all things with purpose. You got this.